My son told the buyer I was only the caretaker. We were sitting at the long table on the porch, the lake right there behind the glass, and a man from a development company had a contract in front of him. When the buyer's wife asked who I was, Daniel did not even turn his head. "That's my mother," he said. "She keeps an eye on the cabins for us. She's not really part of the sale." Then he slid the papers past me to his wife, the way you pass the salt to someone who actually ordered food. I had cooked breakfast for every family that ever stayed on this land for 31 years. I sat with my hands in my lap and said nothing, because 31 years of fixing what other people broke teaches a woman when to wait. My name is Eleanor. My husband and I bought the first 2 cabins at Birch Hollow the year our son was born, with money we did not really have and a loan from a bank that felt sorry for us. We cleared the brush ourselves. I learned to patch a roof, bleed a water line, and talk a frightened family through a power outage at 2 in the morning. When Frank died, everyone assumed I would sell. I did not. I ran the season alone, then the next, then 12 more. The families came back every July and called me by name. Their children grew up swimming off our dock. The land was not a business to me. It was the thing I had kept alive after the man I loved could not. A few years ago, Daniel decided the place needed to grow up. He said it with a spreadsheet open, like 31 years of work had become a number he was tired of explaining. He brought in a wife with opinions and a column for everything, and the 2 of them started calling the cabins the asset. He stopped saying Mom's place and started saying the property. He found a developer who wanted the whole shoreline for something with a gate and a brochure. I told him the families would have nowhere to go. He told me the families were not a line item. I let it sit longer than I should have, because mothers are very good at calling hurtful things ambition. The sale meeting was set for a Saturday on the porch, like it was a celebration. There was wine nobody drank and a folder of papers thick as a hymnal. The developer wanted 40 acres, the shoreline, and all the buildings. Daniel wanted it closed before the season started, so the families would already be gone when the machines came. I had swept that porch myself that morning out of habit. Before I understood, I had been invited to watch and not to sign. When the buyer's wife asked who I was, my own son introduced me as the woman who keeps an eye on things. I did not make a scene. After 31 years of storms, broken pipes, late arrivals, and families crying in cabin kitchens, you learn not to shake until the weather has passed. So I poured the coffee no one had asked for, and I watched my son sell the only home I had left as if it had always been his to sell. I was not planning anything. I only knew one thing that no one at that table had thought to check. And on a piece of land, the quiet line on a map is the one that decides whether anything can move at all. Here is what none of them looked at. A property is not just the land inside the fence. To reach Birch Hollow, you have to come in off the county route and drive 1.5 miles down a gravel road that crosses the old Halloran farm. That road is not part of our deed. It never was. Years ago, when Frank and I cut that road through, the Hallorans would only grant the right-of-way to a person, not a company, and they did it on a handshake and a signed easement. Frank was sick by then, so the easement, the legal right to use that road, was written in my name, mine alone. Daniel was selling 40 acres and a row of cabins. but the only way in or out of all of it ran across a right-of-way that belonged to the woman pouring the coffee. The developer had not driven 2 hours to buy a view he could not legally reach. Late in the afternoon, with the contract open and a pen already uncapped, the buyer's lawyer, a calm woman who had been reading quietly the whole time, looked up from the title work. "Before anyone signs," she said, "I need one thing cleared up. The access. This parcel is landlocked off the county route. Who holds the right-of-way? The easement on the road across the Halloran tract?" Nobody answered. She found it herself, near the back of the file. "Eleanor," she read, "the easement runs to Eleanor personally, not to the estate, not to the property." She set down her pen. "Then I'm sorry, there's nothing to close today. You can't sell access. The seller doesn't hold. Without that road, this land is 40 acres no one can legally reach." The whole bright porch went quiet, the way a lake goes quiet right before the weather turns. My son's face came apart in front of the very people he had spent the afternoon performing for. He looked down the table at me, at the woman with the coffee pot in my good cardigan, and for the first time in years he needed something only I could give. "Mom," he said, and the word came out small, nothing like the title he had handed me an hour before. I could have ended all of it right there. One sentence, one refusal to sign the easement over, and Daniel had 40 acres no buyer could ever drive to. 31 years gives a woman that kind of leverage if she wants to use it. I did not want to. I stood up and walked to the table and picked up the easement with my name on it, and I held it instead of tearing it. "Keep the cabins on the deed," I told him. "Keep the developer, keep the brochure, keep the gate you want to build. The right to use that road stays with me. It always did." I kept my voice low. A woman who has spent her life carrying other people in does not run her own son down in front of strangers just because the map finally fell her way. Here is what they did not see coming. When I picked up my keys, the rest of it followed me out. Old Mr. Halloran's son, who still farmed the tract the road crossed, said quietly that the easement was mine and he would honor it for no one else. Then 2 of the families who had come every summer for 20 years said if I opened somewhere new, they would follow. They stood with me because they knew who answered the phone in winter, who opened the gate before sunrise, who stayed when the pipes froze. I am 62, and I started over the way I started the first time. After the dust settled, I kept my right-of-way and 2 cabins on the far point, the ones with the good morning light. The developer walked away from a parcel he could not reach. I open a few weeks a summer now, small for widows and tired families who could never afford the gated kind of place. The young woman from the Halloran farm helps me run it, and I am teaching her the things no one ever bothered to teach me: the roof and the water line and the families. The little sign at the turn off the county route has my name on it now. The right way this time. Daniel still has his share of a deed to land no one can buy. The developer never called back. He phones some Sundays. I pick up because he is my son, but he does not say the property anymore. He does not say very much at all. For 31 years, I was the quiet thing that kept everyone else's summer running. They thought I only looked after the place. I was the road that reached it. You can leave a woman off the paperwork any time you please. Be sure first that she is not the only way in. If stories about the women who quietly held far more than anyone ever handed them means something to you, subscribe. There is a new one here every week. If you had been at that table, would you have signed the road over or kept it and walked out? Tell me below. And if there is a woman in your life who held a whole family together while everyone called it something smaller, send this to her. She'll know.